Sweden has become a metal nation over time, and one of the bands that has helped with giving the Swedes that title is Soilwork. Since the mid-90s, Björn Strid, or Speed, has been steering the ship with different band members and studio musicians to continue their brand in melodic metal. After the start of this new year, we have Soilwork's first album in almost 4 years, Verkligheten, translating to reality. Speed said in an interview that this is possibly the most epic and darkest album they've done. He would then go on to say that the new album is melancholic but also uplifting, as a unique paradox. It's big talk from someone who has been around for a while in the metal scene. It's one thing to hear a younger frontman hype this band up, but coming from a voice of Soilwork, there's some weight behind it. And with it being the start of a new year, we can take everything fresh and shed ourselves of the beat boops that flooded rock and metal back in 2018. Soilwork is a name that for the most part has stayed solid in the melodic and heavy metal styles with very little variation outside of a few instances. If this is possibly the most epic and darkest album in their discography, then it could lead to another metal name making a resurgence. I've been following Soilwork on and off for over 10 years now. For every album that I've really enjoyed from Speed and Company, there's been one that I barely remember. The discography has been very hit and miss, but after this much time away with the longest gap between albums, the previous being the Ride Majestic in 2015, I feel like Soilwork should be roaring to go. Verkligheten runs at just over 50 minutes across 12 songs, including the intro title track. After that thematic instrumental opening, you are thrown into Arrival, which was released as the first single from the album this past October. Arrival is a great true kickoff for an album and is one of the standouts from Verkligheten. Your attention is instantly grabbed. The singing and growling from Speed works seamlessly and is mixed well. The drum beat from Bastian Thusgaard is steady, and there is some good guitar work that lasted for a decent amount of time before a big thunderous ending. This energy carries into Bleeder Despoiler, which definitely sounds dark and epic. I can honestly say I was not expecting this vivid and forceful style in just 2 songs, but they really sell the quality of this album. Where those 2 songs are on the heavier side, Full Moon Shoals is the melodic side of the album, but it still feels like it belongs here. Rather, it doesn't feel like it's out of place. The guitar work is smooth and Speed's voice sounds good. The following track, The Nurturing Glance, starts off slow with that melody before going into the heavier side, but again, Speed sounds strong. This track is the epic journey that feels like you're listening to something huge. It's after The Nurturing Glance when things start breaking down a bit. The following song, When the Universe Spoke, is a shouty track with a chug-along riff from the rhythm guitar. The Wolves Are Back in Town also has this no-frills riff fest that more of a shout-along experience. The center of the album is where the real highlights are missing, but the strong tracks in the front of the album really make up for it. As the runtime goes on, the album does pick up back in quality. Songs like Wheaton has a vicious growl with better guitar strings. The Ageless Whisper has an amazing driving chorus that takes a while to arrive at, but it's worth the wait. That might be one of my favorites on the album just because of the build and how well it ends. The only real disappointment, or at least what I notice, is that the lyric writing really isn't that dark or deep. It's just there. That's what I think is missing most here. After Needles and Kin and a solid closer in You a Quiver, you are given an album that proves Soilwork are still capable of making an album that not only is reminiscent of the band's past works, but also something that can make you happy to be a metal fan in 2019. This is an album that isn't chasing a fad, but rather one that can be played at any time and enjoyed for what it is. Coming from someone who has been on and off the bandwagon for Soilwork over the past few years, Verkligheten proves that the band can go away for a few years, come back, and still do well. This may not be the darkest or heaviest album the band's ever done, but it does scratch that melodic itch if you have one, and it is worth checking out. Overall, Verkligheten is just enough for tone for both the heavy and melodic side while being fun to listen to. Speed sounds great on this album, and there is enough volume in the right parts for you to enjoy several tracks to go back to for several replays. Listen to this album for the fantastic build in the melody and rhythm. Enjoy that we live in reality where good metal can still be made from reliable longtime bands.